Jonathan, and we are back again for Tech Tuesdays. And we are thrilled today to be joined by Dayana.
Hi, Jonathan. So excited to be here with you all. Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you. Do you want to maybe introduce yourself real quick? Give all our listeners a heads up who you are, what you work on, anything. Go ahead.
Thank you. Absolutely. Yes. Hello, everybody. Hello, LinkedIn Nation, like I hear you say. I'm so excited to be here. And my name is Dayana, like you know, from Jonathan, that kindly invited me to have this conversation today. What I do is easy. I help grow companies. I am devoted to building what I feel is the right tech and what I feel that can take us into the future together. The people, the founders, the consumers, and everybody that supports this journey of us founders. And tech is my passion. It's something that I see my kids engaged on every single day. And I'm kind of interested because it's my own curiosity, but also because it's a need for my family to understand what makes us tick, right? What will carry us forward and support the planet and support education and support a good use of technology in the times to come, which are certainly unknown. I've been doing this for very little. If you look at the spectrum of my life, of working with technology itself, I've been in the United States for only 16 years and I'm 46. So, it's less than a third of my life that I've been interested in this kind of space where I think Jonathan is going to teach me a lot as well today. So I look forward to explain more, share more of my background if you're interested as we go. I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to explore these topics together. And I'm welcoming any new information, Jonathan. So what's up? What's cooking? What are you
Of course, of course. Well, that's part of the reason we really wanted to have you on the show, because of your passion with tech. And tech is one of those things that, tech is always changing. So whether you've been doing, even if you've been doing tech for 30 years, the tech that someone was working on 30 years ago is not the same tech that they're working on today. So it's constantly evolving, and part of new people coming into the industry and bringing in new ideas and new backgrounds, that's what helps tech grow. That's what, brings new ideas and makes these companies grow. And so it's amazing to just have kind of your background. And sometimes it's even more fun talking to people with a non-tech background, because, they're not anchored with preconceptions of what tech is or how it's managed in the workplace. So but actually, so just getting started, what got you into tech after? Because that's a big shift in careers. What was kind of the catalyst to start that off?
I think that what got me into tech was my access to funding. I realized that because I want to do something intentional with the money, that I connect. So to understand my background, jumped from being able to facilitate funding to founders. Yes, that's what I mean by my access to funding, is getting involved in the venture capital, private equity world, and knowing that the money was available, that there's a lot of money or energy or abundance or prosperity available, and thinking to myself, so who do I want to help? Right. Yeah. So I knew that as I jumped into this career, that I wanted to support Latinos, Hispanic people all around the world. Uruguayan, and South America is a place that I hold dearly in my heart. And I know the amazing opportunities that are there for people that sometimes need support from outside. So I was positioned well to do that. And at the same time thinking, okay, well, there's a lot of people doing amazing things. So that's where I brought my children into the picture earlier, because part of what to do with this access to capital is, where do we place it, right? Who do we support? Yeah. And I knew I want to support Hispanic people for sure, and people in my community for sure. That's how we met, because I'm actively reaching. I have automation. I'll reach automation to reach out to founders in Pennsylvania, because we are in Pennsylvania. So let's start to support our local community. Okay, but there's a lot of cool people in Pennsylvania doing great things. And that's when tech came in. So tech was calling me not looking for tech. Why? Because it's our day, it's our present, it's our future, it's the evolution that I've seen most rapidly growing since I've been paying attention. So my background is in anthropology. I
Okay.
studied in college the evolution of culture across the globe. And I see that the one thing that is carrying us forward and carrying us forward the fastest and the most efficient, especially if you were celebrating with me the launch of Inspiration 4 a couple of weeks ago, is tech. So why not, right? Why, I mean, and what kind of tech is then the question. So I get that you want to understand why tech, and my question to you at the end of this long speech would be, so what kind of tech?
What kind of tech? Well, it's a good question. I think what kind of tech always comes back to what a person's goals are. And I think something that you and I are very much aligned on, the tech that I'm most interested in is tech that helps people. And I think that that's a broad statement, because you can help someone save time. You can help someone save money. You can help someone better connect with their family. You can help someone help others. You can have tech that helps the environment. You know, there's a lot of tech out there that does bad things. You know, you read stories about data breaches and identity theft and things like that. But there's tech that's working on reducing carbon emissions, and there's tech that is you know, making salt water drinkable water and things like that. So to me, the tech that really gets me excited is the tech that can help people, but can help mass amounts of people. So of course, I love automation. I love working with small businesses to put in processes and procedures to make their life easier. But in making their life easier, you've now enabled them to spend more time doing the things that they love, which in turn help other people. So to me, that's why I love tech.
Raise the level of joy and happiness, which is quality of life, which
right.
has to move the economy forward.
Exactly.
Sooner or later, if you're in this grind and you're just doing it because, I mean, it's working, but it's easier, but it doesn't fulfill you somewhere, right? So which quality of life is higher? The employee that is banging with the computer and the systems and doesn't know where's the last password that I had to create,
right.
Or somebody that has all those efficiencies solved, so then they can enjoy what they actually came there to do, which hopefully is what they love and what they like in the first place.
Right, exactly.
Enable you, or it can completely make your life a nightmare.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, yeah, I love it. I appreciate that. Yeah.
I've without going into too much detail, I've had people in my life that get affected by their job. So if they have a bad day at work, they'll sometimes bring home that bad day. You can solve a lot of those bad problems through tech. So then they're coming home as a nicer person.
Excited.
And you're helping, right.
I got all this done today because my computer worked, you know.
Right, exactly.
I know. And, you know, it's frustrating for the founders that I work with. I work with a fantastic company called the Revolt Group. I invite everybody to go take a look at what they do. And they solve tech challenges for people, right? For the employee and for the owner, that sometimes is, if it's a small business, the same one that will have to go and take a look at the printer and get somebody to come and fix it, right? Because these are the real problems of the startups. I know that we were talking about a bunch of things. We made a good plan, guys. Something that this is all improv. One of those, what is the biggest challenge for a founder, right? When you start, unless you have a lot of capital, you bootstrap yourself, which is a heavy term, and I don't really like it, the connotations of the term, and it's a term that we use, so we go with the language that we have.
Right.
Basically what it means is that you do what you have. You grab your savings accounts, get a small loan from somebody that believes in you, go get a little loan from your bank, or however you can start small, right? And then you may end up wearing 25 different hats because you don't have the budget to pay for people to come in and solve your tech.
And is that one of the more common themes you see with the companies and startups that you're working with? Is it mostly around?
Yeah, especially if you think of South America, and especially if you think of founders in the ESG space, where sometimes are proving a concept, right? So I work with other clients where they're taking fuel out of trash or out of, in South America, cow manure. So beautiful projects. Now go sell that concept to somebody that needs to see it first to make sure that you can really convert the amount of kilowatts that you say you can with trash.
Okay, so kind of prove it out first, make sure you have something
Mhm.
viable. Okay, so that whole proof of concept and
Of course, yeah.
yeah,
And sometimes the founder is the same one wearing the marketing hat and trying to teach people what are they trying to do so they can
right.
get the funding to, and it takes years, could take years. And that idea that you're wearing many hats, right? So you could be a small financial services company that you have to go fix your own printer, right? Or you could be a founder trying to prove a concept that first needs to be built, and you have to
Yeah,
get the money to build it, and then you have to sell it and get your first contract. Even if you get the money to
it's
build
hard.
the prototype, get a big contract so you can fund the first number of generators in this case.
It's really hard to do. So what would you say to a tech startup or an entrepreneur? How can they try to better organize all the different hats they're wearing? Because I at least know from my experience, I'm like all of us, we're much better at one thing than the other. So maybe we're a computer whiz and we're really good at coding, but we don't have the sales hat under our belt, or we might be a really charismatic entrepreneur and maybe we're lacking some of the tech background. So do you kind of approach all entrepreneurs the same way, or do you work with them to understand their skill sets and kind of help them differently?
Yes, first of all, definitely you have to know yourself, right? Not in vain. It's back from, we know ancient times. That's the first principle. So take a look at your strengths and take a look at where are those areas where either you don't want to do that, you don't know how to do that, and
Yeah,
it's not something that fills you, that energizes you, like I was saying earlier. And then seek out, attract, and put out, the it's perhaps a combination of intention and action. So
right.
you're seeing, you're attracting, and you also need to go and take a step out. Like I reached out to you and say, hey, something that you're doing is interesting to me. I think we could synergistically work well together and put something out into the world that is of use to who the people. We both want to help people, right? A lot of people. So that's how we came about. And teaming up is what it comes about, I think.
Yeah,
Mastermind alliance, call it what you want. It's just finding synergies among people where complementary strengths. So in your case, we were talking about automating some of your outbound sales, for example. That's something that I'm passionate about doing, so it energizes me.
right,
Drains the hell out of you because that's not your thing.
right.
So then we find the complementary synergy that takes us both forward.
It's true. It's true. Okay, great point. Yeah,
So
and
everybody needs to know where your weaknesses and strengths are. That was the point. That was the answer to your
right,
question.
right.
Then look out for somebody to complement those strengths.
Yeah, and I know you kind of touched on this too, in addition to knowing your strengths and weakness, but also knowing why you're in it and what
Yes.
you're doing that tech for. How important is that? And how have you seen companies get that message out?
Well, do you agree that it's important? That's the
Oh,
reason.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If you don't have a why you're doing something, you're just kind of meandering about. I mean, everything is driven. It's the reason I wake up every morning and go to work. I mean, above doing what I love, but it's to provide for my family and to give my daughter a great life and to do all these things and to help
Exactly.
people. So like that's my why. But how do you help pull that out of people?
Yeah. So you touched on a key point, which is legacy. And a lot of people care about legacy, right? You can be swimming in millions right now. You made all the money you want. You have all the success you want. If there's nothing that carries you into the future, like you said, your daughter, or you create a body of work that others can use and apply, or you made an impact in the environment or in your town, something, legacy, it's hard to imagine getting up every day after you achieved all the success that you want, right? So it is a little bit of that carrot that moves you forward, right? So that's a key point of why the why is important. The other one is because a lot of that work and action that will add up and compound into success will need you to grind.
Yeah.
At some point, you will find yourself doing something that you don't really want to do and it still needs to be done. And the only person that can do it is you, even if it's just making a decision as
Yeah.
a CEO or a founder. So the why then comes to really support you as your driving force, your fuel, through those things that you perhaps wouldn't do if the why is not strong enough. So just think about the last time that you did something that you were not really sure, but you still did it, how easy it was to stop doing it because you really were not into
Right.
that passionate, that belief, that life force of its own. And the ideas that you committed to, even if they could be crazy to somebody else, you perhaps got through them and succeeded because you believed in them. There was
Right.
something that you had stake, you had skin in the game there. So that's the why. And how do you bring it out of people? I think you have to ask them, well, if you can close your eyes, we could do it right now with whoever's watching this, and you imagine yourself at your old age, and you've done it all, and you can see your grandkids, and you saw your life unfolding, and you're thinking, was it worth it? Why did I do all this?
Yeah.
So if it's the 9 to 5 that you hate, and you are looking back and you just lived it, and you're looking back at the movie and say, why did I every single day got up and did that thing that I didn't really want to do, and now look, right? So
Yeah, it's true.
put value on something. Just, it's like sales. It's like what you do for your amazing work with the reviews, right? And the feedback is that, is there value on this? Show me the return. If
Right.
there's
We
a
have,
return, I'll buy. Right. So when you look back and you said, what was the value, right? What did I add something, right? Did I, and when people don't have that, when they have it, it lights up in them, it ignites,
sure.
right? So it's a way to connect them to their why just by looking at themselves backwards. If you don't have it, you feel the void and you're like, oh, wait, I'm doing this like a machine and I don't really know why.
Yeah.
Nothing really moves me. So maybe it triggers the search. Or sometimes you just pose a question and let people ask the question. The answer sometimes comes right away, but the question is what's more important.
Yeah. And do you find it's kind of been, I don't want to anchor you, but I feel like with entrepreneurs that I've worked with or come in contact with, before it was all about the money. The why is because I want to have this big exit of millions of dollars and I can, buy 8 Lamborghinis, even though you can only drive one at a time.
Money. Sorry.
Right. So have you seen that kind of the why has shifted away from more of the monetization? Okay.
Yeah, because the environment is calling for us, right? And capitalism is growing and everybody's like, your capitalism is great. So there's not that necessary pushback against, let's make money. Money can facilitate a lot of things. So the conversation maybe shifted. And again, this is my opinion. I'm not an expert in the area. I'm just saying, this is what I've been thinking about. The conversation is not so much let's debate, right? It's about what do we do with it.
Right.
So I think at least in the space that I am, we know that there's been, let's pull out some numbers. Billions of dollars invested in cryptocurrency. So in cybersecurity so far.
Right.
Billions, right? In this year, we're going to record at the end of 2021 the amount of billions of dollars invested in cybersecurity.
Sure.
So there's billions of money. I mean, there's billions of dollars to circle around. The question is, what do we do? Where do we put them? And that was the beginning, right, of the conversation about why tech and why the right tech and why the right tech for the people, for the environment, for the things that we can do. Electric cars, let's do it. Why invest in fossil fuels if we can invest in electric cars? Yes. So
it's true. Yeah.
It's not about so much about why make money anymore. Perhaps it's about, can we make some intentional positive use of it?
It's true. It's true. You and I are very much on the same page with that kind of stuff.
Did I answer your question? I got
absolutely. No, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. The paradigm shift is there for a lot of people, and people have varying reasons as to why they've shifted. But I agree with you. In my experiences as a whole, it has seemed recently, especially since the pandemic started, that there's been typically a general shift into the why behind a business. 10 years ago, I was looking to start businesses, and I remember looking at what's the return on investment. or what's the market cap, or what are the sales that I can expect? And I just noticed in my own approach to business, it's now more, how many people can I help? How can I impact my carbon footprint? How can I better this world for the next generation? So even in myself, it's shifted, and I've seen it in you, and it's nice to see that you've seen it in all the entrepreneurs that you work with as well.
Yes, and look at it as a trend. I mean, I think if we look back at the last even 5-10 years and say, it's not that Uber took fire, it caught fire and became this sense. It's that Uber allowed us to think about transportation differently.
Right.
So boom, the paradigm shifted. Yes. Same thing we could say for Airbnb, same thing we could say for so many companies that allowed us to believe in something that we could see now, not as an idea. Oh yeah, AI was something that we were talking about 10 years ago. Well, now AI, without it, why would you be without AI? Why would you as a business founder right now start a project that you want to develop in the next 5 years and not include AI in it? Right? So
missing out.
Right, exactly. Shifting the fabric of how we do things. So then we realized, okay, then let's invest in understanding the most efficient, privacy protective, open source AI, right? So the conversation is not about, do we want AI or not? It's like, okay, what kind of AI?
Right, exactly. Exactly.
And with everything, we could talk endlessly about that. And this is fascinating. So that becomes the why for me. It's like saying, okay, we have all this power now. We know that taking us, we're going to be, wearing, I was talking to my parents and they're in their 70s almost. And I was saying, look, they're marveled with the technology that we have a smart mini computer carrying with us all the time and everything that we can do. And I was thinking, wow, in 5-10 years, we're going to be wearing that. Why do we need to carry something that distracts me when I'm driving?
It's true.
Right. So, and it's a fact. It's going to be the question of which one and how does it interface with everything else and our privacy and everything. And not the question, are we going to be wearing a wearable smart computer or not?
The wearables are an interesting next trend. I'm excited to see where that goes. I saw they came out with a chip that you can put on your tooth, and it tracks what you eat. So people that want to keep food journals or want to monitor what their sugar intake, you can, like braces, you can put a chip. I haven't tried it. I don't know if it's in beta or not, but yeah, wearables are absolutely the future.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we only have you for another couple minutes. This has been a really, really fun conversation. So I definitely want to have you back at some point to continue this. But leaving our viewers on a fun, light note, what is your favorite piece of technology?
My favorite piece of technology right now? Wow, I think it's VR.
Cool.
Experiencing, VR.
Very cool.
Reality, I think is something that I'm into right now. And then for the learning, right? For the learning process and what it enables us to experience. In terms of application that I would recommend people test is look at the areas where you can automate something and keeping the human touch.
Okay.
So I would say my favorite tech is that one that we're using to reduce the time and energy that we spend in repetitive tasks that don't need to be manual anymore, and think of it out of the box. Maybe just I leave you with a little seed there. It's something that I'm launching soon. It's a new offer that is not out there yet, so I will let you know when that comes up. But it has to do with this in sales and how to automate without losing that ability to hyper personalize.
Oh, you spot on. I couldn't agree more with you. I'm totally with you. Yeah.
So that's my favorite kind of tech right now. Is the one that I'm building.
Okay.
One of my favorite people in the world, Naval Ravikant, he says, you have to learn how to build and you have to learn how to sell.
Yeah.
If you can do both, you'll be unstoppable.
It's true.
Right.
It's true.
So now I'm building my next tech that I can use and that I can sell. And I don't want to tell you more about it. I'm going to leave you hanging with that.
Okay.
More about it. I'm telling you, it has to do with this invitation that I give you and your audience, which is look at all those things that you're doing it this way because we've been doing them the same way 100 years.
Right.
Or 200 or 50. Yes. Look at where in your industry, wherever you are, you might be in health, you might be in HR, you might be in reviews and feedback, you might be in hospitality, whatever it is. Just see yourself from above and say, oh, I'm doing that way because that has been taught to me and because it's been working great for the last number of years. Now, if I could do it in a way where all the manual task aspect of it, repetitive and grinding, would be taken out of the equation, but kept the one personal aspect that no one else could do.
Yeah.
Right? No machine could do, no recipe could do, right? That hyper personalized aspect. How would I do this?
Yeah.
It might change might change the way you do a couple of things.
That is a very good note to leave people with. I know my mind's already spinning. I got a few things that I want to run up against you. But Dayana, this has been great talking with you. And I love our conversations because of how much we are aligned with things and how we kind of see the world and technology. So this has been really nice talking with you today.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. It was great being here. I appreciate the time and I wish you all the best. Until
we'll have you back as soon as your tech is ready.
Awesome.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, talk to you soon.
See ya. Bye.
Bye-bye.